Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have a very special video for you today. This is an interior tour of Icon of the Seas. This is from this past weekend when the ship was docked in Miami on turnaround day. I was part of a tour group that was fortunate enough to be able to tour the ship and tried at least to get as much video as I possibly could. I think you're going to like what you're about to see. This is all of the common areas on the interior of the ship, as well as a few rooms that are unique to Icon at the very end. I hope you enjoy the video, and please remember to subscribe to the channel. And we're going to start off the tour here right on the promenade. So this is right when you come onto the ship on the day that you board the ship. And they really have a kind of a wow factor here. One of the first things you see ahead is the Pearl, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. I just want to show you the rest of the promenade first. One of the things to see when you come on and you look to the right, they do have escalators on the ship, and those go from deck 2 to deck 5, which is supposed to really help with onboarding and offboarding when you're in port. So that's something new to a ship like this. And we're going to see, so here's the English pub. That's a standard Royal Caribbean thing on the ships, usually right on the promenade. And this is still fairly early in boarding. Later on in the video, you're going to see as it is getting closer to everyone being on the ship. And it does get definitely a little bit more crowded. So we're going to see some of the shopping here, the port merchants. And up ahead are some of the finer shops. And as we come back this way, now it is a 2-story promenade, and you can walk all the way around on the second deck, so on deck 6. And so we're going to do that in just a minute, but it's really kind of nice the way they have it set up. So it feels like there's a lot going on in the promenade, but they've spaced it out as best they can. And you can see they have all the balloons overhead for the balloon drop later. There's the logo shop straight ahead. And this will be one of the permanent stands that they have here for selling some of the items, maybe some specials of the day. And as we come by the collection, that's kind of the higher end handbags that they sell. And over here on the left is going to be Sorrento's, and on the right is going to be Spotlight Karaoke. Those are typical Royal Promenade, Royal Caribbean type places. And as we take a look back, you can see the Pearl here on the right. And the ship is just absolutely beautiful. It was starting to get a little bit crowded when we got off, but it seemed to handle the flow of traffic around here pretty well. So now we're going to take a better look at the Pearl. So each one of these tiles, I think, has kind of like it moves a little bit independently, but they almost create like a wave pattern around in here. Now, this one, I have heard a rumor that they are going to look at on Star of the Seas, where this would be more multicolor, but this is pretty much the color of it as is. So we are at the top, and as we turn, you're going to see the Pearl Cafe, which has been already a fan favorite. And you have all this seating right here, which is nice. I think that's even nice on sail away if you wanted to go right there and watch everything. Over ahead is the Voom desk to help everybody as they get on board. So now we're on deck 6, and we're going to go past these giant dominoes, and we're going to take a look at some of the upper level of the promenade. This is Bolero's here on the left. And you can just see how nice a view it is. This is actually a good shot where you can see some of that natural light coming in from Central Park above, which is fairly common. They do that on the Oasis class also. One of the bars here on board, this is straight across from the Pearl, one deck down. This is actually the schooner bar, excuse me. And as we continue to walk along, okay, so there's the Pearl right there. And we're going to continue to walk around. So you can go the whole perimeter of the promenade on deck 6 and do a whole loop. And you can see all the windows here. You've got tons of natural light coming in. I would have loved to have seen some aspects of the ship at night when it's lit up. I think this area would be really neat. So this is the kind of the live music that they have in the promenade. And normally you don't get this close to it. It is kind of closed off, but you can be right up next to it as they're playing, which is kind of cool. Up on the right here is the Dueling Pianos bar. And there's a good view of Sorrento's. And the shopping, the Pearl, all the balloons ready to go. And this is looking the full length down the promenade. Now, I do want you to notice really quick, the figures in these windows are moving, which is kind of a cool thing that they added. So we're somewhat down in Surfside here, but this is actually down here is the entrance to Playmakers, where on an Oasis class ship, Playmakers is typically on the boardwalk. Here, it's one deck down from Surfside. And you can see this was already getting going as everybody was getting on the ship, checking it out. It's good size. I've been on Freedom of the Seas, which, holds far less than this. It's still a good size ship. I would almost say the Playmakers there is as big or maybe even a little bit bigger, but I think they probably figure with the number of venues that they have, they don't need to make it, proportionately as big on Icon. And from the other end of Playmakers, you can take a walk down the steps. This is where the ice rink is. And a little bit different on this one. Instead of being the rectangle, it's more in the round. And so I think it gives the performers a little bit more of ability to do a little bit more variety in when they're performing on the ice. But this is a good view of it. This, I would say, if somebody was really wanting to see one of the shows on here, you would want to make reservations. If you look at the seating compared to the number of people, it could get a little bit tight in there. And here we are walking into the Aquadome. And unfortunately, I did not get a performance, but we're going to take a walk around here. And you can see up above, that's where the kind of the fountain flows down out of. And this is also where Hooked is, one of the specialty dinings on board. And as we go all the way around, we're going to take one more look at the Aquadome, and then we're going to head over to the Overlook area, which I think is really nice. Those windows right there, that is the coastal kitchen. So if you're in a suite, you can actually eat and look down into this area. So this is the overlook. So you're on the top of the ship in the very front. And you can see there's a full bar here. There's one more on the other side. The lights don't normally flash like that. That's just the camera picking them up. But you can see it's just wall-to-wall glass here, and you get almost like a 270-degree view. All of this seating is just first come, first serve. These pods here over on the left, much the same. You don't pay for them. If you're early enough, you grab them and they're yours. But you can just see all the light that just floods in here. And that is the back of the Aquadome. And the one thing that was surprising, we were on here, this was early September, which is still pretty toasty hot in South Florida, it did not feel that bad in there. They must really have the AC going, and they somehow filter out a lot of the hot air that accumulates from all those windows. So another look at the Aquadome, and again, I would say get some reservations if you want to do that. This is the Empire Dining Club, and this is a specialty restaurant. I would say this is probably on the highest end when it comes to the specialty dining. They were telling us it's $200 per person to attend. It's, I think, a 6-course meal that includes dessert, and it is a fairly intimate thing. They do have people who are doing live music up there as part of the dinner entertainment. And we're going to walk through Adventure Ocean. I think what surprised me with this was it just seemed to go on and on and on. And I mean, I know they can accommodate all the way from 6 months all the way up to 17 years. And the teen area is in here, but you can take a peek in some of these rooms. It just was really surprising at how big it was, and it just seemed to kind of just keep stretching out more and more. And we're going to take a peek here. You can see all the play areas that they have. And they really try to make it very interactive with the kids. So now this is as you start to get to some of the older kids. Probably preteen, but they have all the chairs set up. They have the video games available for them to play. That is one of the workshops that was already going, or at least they were showing the kids what they're going to do. You have all the seating out here. And now this is walking into the teens area. Forgive me the little side lighting that was happening, but it was part of those lights hitting the camera. But this is a really neat area. It's a comfortable area, and I bet some of the teens are going to have a ball in this section. So they have some of these tables that are kind of, I mean, they have foosball and all that, but they have some of these tables that are interactive, that are like a touch screen. I'll show you in just a second. But you can see this area is pretty big, so it can handle a lot of kids. And you can just choose what you want to do. And we'll get another look here at the whole space. Now, here we are heading into the music hall. So this is 2 decks. We're on the upper deck right now. And you can see there's a full bar up here, plenty of seating. We're going to get to the railing and take a look down into the music hall. But it's kind of nice that they just have it lit very well, knowing that later on tonight, this is really going to get going. Live music on the stage. They got a good sized dance floor. There's more seating down there. And the stairs across the way, so you can get up and back with those. And we'll take a look around here, and connected right to the music hall is the casino. Now, we were still in port. We weren't sailing yet, so we were able to film in here, but it's kind of nice that it's so close. Now, they do have a smoke-free casino that is completely separate from this one. This is the main casino where there is smoking allowed. But plenty of table games, a lot of video poker, slots, all that. Also with a full bar in here. You can see there's the cashier cage in the back. Now, here we are. We're in the Windjammer. So the Windjammer is laid out a little bit differently. It's essentially the top deck looking down into the surfside area. And so it kind of does this horseshoe here, which in a way really helps because it kind of spreads it out a little bit better. And if you want a get a table by the window to look out at the ocean, you can. If you want a table to look down into Surfside, you can. There's a full bar on each side, as well as some of the Coke Freestyle machines right there. We were in fairly early, so the ship wasn't terribly crowded, so it wasn't that bad for us. I know it would be a lot busier if it was a sea day, something like that, but it seemed to have a good flow to it, and I like how it was laid out and maybe stretched out a little bit more than some of the other Windjammers to kind of keep the flow going and spread the people out. And there's the beverage station right there. And now we're going to come up to some of the rooms. And this one right here is the Ocean View Large Balcony. So you can see there's not a whole lot of difference. There's some subtle things that are different with this one. Some of the other rooms we're going to get to in just a second are quite different than anything you've seen on another ship. But you can see they did a good job here. And I apologize for all the people walking around, but we were in a hurry and we were in a fairly large group. So we had to kind of get in and out quick and see what we could see. This one is the Sunset Junior Suite. So it is a junior suite in the back of the ship. So you can look at the wake as you go. I don't know how much you might hear some noise from the Surfside area, kind of around the corner and down. Now, I did want to show you here, these are adjoining balcony rooms, and the doors adjoining them that allow them to connect are actually on the outside. So you'd close those doors off from the hallway and then open the doors to your room, and that's how somebody would get in from one room to the other. This right here is the Family Infinite Ocean View Balcony. And you can see that the kids would have bunk beds. They each have their own TV. A lot of the rooms have this set up with the bathrooms where there's a toilet and sink in one. And then in the other, there is a shower and a sink in this one, which I think would help as maybe a family of four is getting ready for dinner. So there's the bed for the parents. I believe that couch would fold out, so this would sleep five. And you have some shelves next to the TV there. And so this is the infinite balcony. So there's no separation from the balcony to the room. And you just push a button and that top panel of glass slides down. And this one here is let's see, that is the Surfside Family Suite. And you can see they have a good sized bathroom here. So again, shower and sink on this side, maybe a little bit bigger than the other. And that's a bed out. Those curtains would be the balcony. And we're going to turn around and take a look in I would say the other half of the bathroom, which has the sink and the toilet here. And it comes with the coffee maker. There's your vanity for getting ready. This does fold out right here if need be. There's your private balcony and your window to look down into the Surfside area. And that's a good view of that. And I like some of this indirect lighting that they have in the rooms now. It's a nice touch. This is a sunset suite. So this is a suite, and if it's sunset, it's now in the back of the room. And you can see this is really nicely laid out. They do not have that separation of the bathroom in this one. This only sleeps two. So there's the bed. And then over here in the bathroom, it's a full shower with a tub, toilet, and then it does have the double sinks. And I believe the last one we're going to take a look at here is the Sunset Corner Suite. So again, it's going to have the full bathroom with the double sinks, the full shower. That couch may fold out, so you may be able to sleep more than two in here. Fairly similar setup to the bed. And then we'll take a peek out here. So now this is more on the corner back to the, from the back of the ship to the side of the ship. And you get to look down into the surfside area. So before we go, I want to show you the kind of the elevator bank area, and you can see where this would probably get busy as the ship is sailing. Everybody's maybe heading to dinner or something like that. This would be a good spot to meet people, and they do have it where it's fairly open. We're one deck above here, so you can see there's a railing, and then on this side you can look out into Central Park. And then as we walk across, you can see right into the Surfside area. So this is kind of a nice touch. It's a neat way that they did it. And it's interesting that they have it open where we have this railing on our deck and for several decks above. And you get a good look at that here. It just creates kind of more of an open, airy feel to it. And again, it lets in a lot of natural light right into this area. So these are the destination elevators. So there are no buttons to press inside the elevator. On one of the panels on the outside, you go over and you press whatever deck you want to go to, and then it would tell you what letter elevator to use to get to that deck. So this is the lowest deck here. I think we're on deck 10, but it's nice that they have all this glass right here so you can take a look at Central Park. We'll take a look at Surfside here in just a second. I can only imagine at night when you're all ready to go to dinner, how, if it's dark down there, how nicely lit that would be. That would really be kind of a neat thing to see. And we'll turn and take a look at Surfside. And again, that would be great to see that lit up at night. And you can look all the way down. Now, one thing I do want to show you here okay, so we're going to take a little step back and look all the way up at each of the decks above. We're going to take a look at one of these map boards over here, and just so you know, these are not interactive like they have on some other ships, but it does at times, it is nice to have these around to help you get your bearing on this. And as we wrap up the video, we're going to take a walk down the Pearl so you can see what that's like. I'm going to thank you again, and please remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for checking out my video, and remember, if you're looking for a cruise, contact me and I'll find the perfect cruise vacation for you.